In this lecture, we are going to discuss the last two sections of the chapter 7, percent increase or decrease and the interest. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the last two sections of the chapter 7. We are going to study the percent increase or decrease and the interest. And let's start with the percent increase problems. And in the first problem, we had a computer technician is granted a 4% salary increase. If the salesperson current salary is $2,800 per month, what will be his new salary? Then because we want to know, yes, if we want to calculate the new salary, we need to calculate how much was the increase of the salary. Yes, what was the amount the salary increases. Then we can use the method we know. Yes, we can try to find a question with what is and of words, and then we can write the equation using that question. Then in this case, what we want to know is what number is 4% of 2,800. And if we know what was the increases, we can finally calculate the new salary. Then first solve the question. Let me write the question here. What number is 4% of 2,800? And let's now try to write the equation. X equal, because it's what number is the equal symbol, it's 4%, and of means multiplication of 2,800. We know we need to write this one in a decimal notation. For that, you can divide by 100, but just you can move 2 places to the left, and then you will get 0.04. And if we multiply 0.04 times 2,800, then we will get 112. Now we can calculate the new salary, because we know the 4% corresponds to 112. Then the new salary will be the current salary plus how much the salary increases was 112. And now we can calculate the new salary will be 2,912. This is the answer. Then let's try the second problem. In the second problem, we had a statistician making a salary of $3,200 per month. Has his salary increased to $3,368 per month? And what is the percent increase? And in this case, because we want to calculate the percent, then we want to know in what amount was the percent. And to know that, then first we want to calculate is the amount of the increase of the salary. To do that, then we will subtract the new salary minus the old salary. Yes. Then we will, how much was the increase? Yes, the amount. Then we can subtract here 3,068 minus 2,200. And then we will get here with 168. This is the amount in which the salary increase. Yes, was 100. This is the new salary, this is the old salary, and this is how much the salary increases in 168. Because we want to calculate what is the percent increases, and we need to calculate the percent that correspond to 168. And what we want to know is what percent of 3,200 is 168, because this was the old salary. Yes, this is the new salary, but we need to calculate the percent based on the old salary. And let's write the question here. What percent of 3,200 is 168? And what percent is of 3,200 is 168 is of what? Remember, we had multiplication. Yes, you can write this one like it's the same. It's the same thing. And we divide by to solve for x, and then x equal, and we just divide the numbers. And we divide the numbers, we'll get 0.0525. Because we want the percent, we need to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. And 1, 2 will be 5.25%. And the salary increases in 5.5%. The percent, then we can write here. Let's write here. The percent increase is 5.25%. Always, if we need to calculate the percent and you had two salaries, yes, the old and the new salary, before to calculate the percent, we need to know the amount, in what amount the salary was increasing. To do that, we need to subtract the salaries. Always we need to do that. And in this part, we will discuss the percent decrease examples. And let's start with the first. Several retail stores closed and the population of Athens decreased by 72% as a result. If the original population was 12,500, what is the new population? And in this case, because we had the percent, then we need to find a number. Yes, we had the percent, we had the number, and we need to find another number. What is the other number? Is the new population. But before to calculate the new population, what we had to do is we need to calculate what is the 72% of 2,500. Then in order to calculate what was the decrease of the population, yes, what amount the population decreases. Then let's try to write what we want using the words we know, what, is, and of. Then we can write this, yes, we can write like we want to find is what number is 7.2% of 2,500. And now let's write the equation. What number is x? What number is, we can replace x by the equal. What number is 72% of 12,500. And we know we need to convert this one into decimal. To do that, divide by 100 or move the decimal point to the left 2 places. Then we will have 0.072 times 12,500. And the x value equals to 900. Then the population decreases by 900. Yes, the population decreases by 900. Then because we need to find the new population, that what to do is the new population equals to the original population, which is 12,500 minus 900. Yes, now we can find the new population. And 12,500 minus 900 is 11,600. And this is the answer. Yes, this is the answer. And let's try the problem number 2. Textile mill closure results in the population of the adjacent towns decreasing from 8,956 to 7,800. Then what is the percent decreases in the population? And we want to round to the nearest hundred of 8%, the answer. And in this case, we had two numbers, yes, and was the decreasing, yes. The population decreases from 8,956 to 7,800. Then in this case, remember, if we need to calculate the percentage and there is something decreases, first we need to find that number, yes, how much. In this case, the population decreases, yes, with the number. In what number the population decreased. Then to do that, we need to subtract the population, yes. The original population, let me write there, is 8,956 minus 7,800. And if we subtract these two numbers, we will have 1,156. This is in what amount the population decreased. Then now to calculate the percentage, then we need to calculate the percentage based on the original population, which is this one. Yes. And what we want to know is what percentage, yes, we want what percent of 8,956 is 1,156. Then let's try this one. Of 8,956. Let's see what percent. Let me write this one again. What percent of 8,956 is 1,156. And we want to know what percent, and this is the x of, then we have multiplication is equals 1,156. And remember, we can write this one like the same thing. divide by 8,000 on both sides to solve the equation. Let's cancel out, and we divide these two numbers, and let's write like 4 or 5 numbers after the decimal point, because we need to round to the nearest hundredth of percent. And let's write enough number after the decimal point. And we know to write this one in percentage, we need to move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and will be 12.907. Now we need to round to the nearest hundredth of 8%. Then 100 is this place, then x equals to 12 point. We need to add 1 because this is the testing digit is greater than 5. Then will be 12.91%. And here also I need to write the percent. Then the answer will be 12.91%. And if we want to write the answer here, maybe we can write the population decrease by 12.91%. Then if we had two numbers, yes, if we had two numbers which with something increase or decrease, before to find the percentage, we need to subtract the numbers. Yes, we need to subtract the numbers like we did here, and then we can find the percentage. We had one more problem here, the percent decrease. The selling price of a home was dropped from 200,000 to 190,000 in Caroline County. But what percent did the price drop? Then again, we had here, we need to find the percent, and we had two amounts. Yes? The first amount and then the final amount after the price drop. Then we need first, before to find the percent, we need to subtract these two. We need to subtract these two amounts. Then we need to calculate in what amount the price drop. Yes, and we need to calculate that. We need to subtract 200,000 minus 190,000, and maybe we can write here something like how much the amount, yes, price drop will be minus and this will be equals to 10,000. Now we had the amount, in what amount the price drop was 10,000. Yes, was $10,000. Then now we want to calculate the percentages. Then we want to calculate the 10,000 is what percent of the original price. Yes, the 200,000. And let's write that. Let's write here the question. We want to know 10,000 is what percent of of 200,000. Yes. And let's now write the equation. 10,000 is equal what percent of and again you can write this one like one, the same thing, x, just divide by 200,000 and we will divide here by 200,000 also. And if we divide these two numbers, you will get 0.05 equals to x. That corresponds to 5%. Yes, we move the decimal point 1, 2, then it's 5% equals to x. And now we can say the price. Let's write price. Drop by 5%. Again, if something increase or decrease, the important thing is, and if you have to calculate the percent of this decrease or increase, first you had to calculate the amount of increase or decrease, and how you will calculate that? You had to subtract the two numbers. And then you will calculate the percent of that number based on the original number, original population or original price. Now let's try to solve the second problem. Then here we need to identify if the problem is increase or decrease problem. Then identify as an increase or decrease. Then find the percent of increase or decrease. If necessary, round to the nearest tenth of 8%. Then the original is 117 and the new is 90. Then clearly this problem is decrease problem. Yes, clearly is decrease problem. Then we identify this problem is decrease problem. Now we need to find the percent of increase or decrease. And in order to calculate the percent, first we need to calculate the amount, the increase or decrease. In this case is how much decrease. To do that, we will subtract the numbers. Yes. Then to know how much decrease, we will just subtract 117 and then we will calculate, this will be 80. Then we know the decrease, the amount of decrease corresponds to 80. Yes. Now we need to calculate the percent. Then we can now ask the question. Yes. Now is 80 is what percent of the original price, means 170. Then we can write here the question 80, the decrease is what percent of the original price, which is 170. And now we need to write the equation. Yes. Then 80 is equals what percent x of 170. Then we can write, one thing you can notice always, if you have to calculate the percent, you need to divide the numbers. Yes. But you be careful in what order you divide the numbers. Yes. You notice is you need to calculate the percentage always. The percent, you need always to divide the numbers. And if we divide 80 divided by 117 is 0.4705 equal to x. And we need to round to the nearest 10 of 8%. And let's convert this one into the percent. To do that, we move the decimal point 2 places. then it will be 47.05 equal to x. Then to the nearest tenth, we need to see the testing digit will be 5. Yes, it will be 5. Then we need to add 1, and we had 47.1. And here I missed the percent. Let me write here the percent. Equal to x, then it's 41. Equal to x. And let's write here 1. This is the answer. It's 47. And this amount decreased in 47.1%. As the original respect to the new number. And let's now use two problems. We want to solve two problems related to the discount. And it's similar to increase or decrease problems. It's similar concept. And let's try to solve the first one. A pair of hiking boots is marked as 200. During a sale, the boots are discounted by 8%. What is the new price of the boots? Then now we had 8%. Then we want to know, first we need to calculate 8% to 8%, what amount corresponds to 8%, yes? And then we can find the new price. Then to do that, what is the question in this case? Yes, what is the 8% of 200? Yes, this is we want to know first in order to find the new price of the boots. Then the first we want to know is what is the 8% of 200. And what is the 8% of 200? 0.08 times 200, and x equals to 16. Now we know the new price will be, because it's discount, the new price will be the original price minus the discount, which is 16. And the new price will be 200. Let me write the finally 84. So it's 184. And let's solve one more problem. A computer market at 2,000 is sold at a discount for 1,850. Find the percent discount correct to the nearest tenth of 8%. And again, in this case, we had the original price and the discount price. Then before to find the percent, we need to find what was the discount. And in order to find the discount, what we need to do is we need to subtract the original price. Let me write the original price minus the discount price. Yes, then we will have and the discount in this case is 150. Now we need to calculate what 150 is what percent of 2,000, which is the original price. And let's write that. And what we want to find is 150 is what percent of 2000. And let's write the equation. 150 is what percent of 2000. If you want, you can rewrite this one like that. Divide by 2000 on that side to solve for x. Then we have x equal, if we divide 150 divided by 2000, we will get 0.075. Then now we need to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Then will be 7.5. And now we need to write the percent equal to x. Or we can write x equal to percent. Then in this case, it's already in the nearest tenth. Yes, it's in the nearest tenth. Then the percent discount in this case is 77.5%. Let's maybe write this one, the percent discount is 7.5%. I would like to solve this problem. It's not for increase or decrease, but it's just the percent, just to review. Then let's try to solve this problem. In this case, we had Erica categorized her spending for this month into 4 categories: rent, food, fun, and other. The percent she spent in each category are pictured here. Then she spent 20% in food, 30% in rent, 50% in fun, and 31% in other. Then if Erica spent a total of $2,800 this month, how much did she spend on rent? As we want to know. And what we want to know in this case is what number is 30% of the total, the 2,000, the total amount she spent in 1 month. Yes? And what number is 30% of 2,800? And maybe we can write that here to solve the problem. Let's write this one. What number? What we want to know is what number is 30% of 2,800. Then what number is the x value, is the variable is equal 30% of, means multiplication, 2,800. Then we know we need to change this one into decimal. We divide by 100 or move the decimal point 2 places. Then we will 0.30 times 2,800. We multiply these two numbers, then we will get 840. Then she spent in rent. She spent on rent $840. Yes, we can write maybe she spent on rent $840. Yes. Let's try the next problem. And now we will start with the chapter 7. The chapter 7 is the interest, and before to start solving the problems, let's define some words. We need to know that we need to know the definition of the meaning in order to solve the problems. Then the balance is the balance is the current amount in an account or the current amount owed on a loan. As this is the balance. The principal is the initial amount invested or borrowed. Is the initial amount invested. The rate is the interest rate, and usually is giving us a % per year. And usually is a %, yes, and it's per year. The time is this is the time duration of the loan or investment. If the interest rate is per year, then the time must be measured in years. And if the time is in years, rate must be also in years. And we have to be careful with that part. Rate and time must be in the same units, yes. And usually in this course we will work in years. This is the equation we will use to calculate the simple interest, and this is the I is the interest equals to the P is the principal, R is the interest rate, and we say it will be a %, and T is the time. Again, rate and time must be in the same units, and usually we will use years in this course. Now the other important equation is to calculate the balance. If we want to calculate the balance, then we need to add the principal plus the interest. And these are the two equations we will use to solve simple interest problems in the last section. In this last section. And now we are going to solve problems in which we need to apply the interest equation and the balance equation. Let's start with the problem number 1. This problem says you are starting your own small business in Cambridge. You borrow $10,000 from the bank at a 9% rate for 5 years. Find the interest you will pay on this loan. Then in this case, we need to identify what information we know and what we need to find. Yes? Then let's try to identify what we know. And we know that person borrowed $10,000 from the bank. Then this corresponds to the principal. And we will say we know the principal is $10,000 and the rate is 9%. And the time is 5 years because it happened for 5 years. And we need to find the interest. And let's write the equation here, the interest equation. And to calculate the interest, what we had to do is just to plug in the information we know. But before to plugging in the information, remember we need always, in order to do calculations, we need to convert the percentage into the decimal notation. The 9%. Remember, you need to divide by 100 or move the decimal point 2 places to the left. And this is 0.09. And now we can calculate the interest. In this case will be 10,000 times 0.09 times 5. If we multiply these numbers together, we will get 4,500. And in the interest, yes, that person need to pay is $4,500. Let's try the problem number 2. How much simple interest is earned by 2,500 if 2,500 is invested at 5% per year for 8 years? And now we want also how much is the account at the end of the 8 years period. Then in this we need to answer two questions. As we need to find what is the simple interest, but we want to know also how much is in the account at the end of the 8 years period. Then we want to know the balance. Then first we will find the interest and then we will calculate the balance. Then let's identify what information we know. And we know the principal is 2,500. We know the rate, which is 5%, and we know the time, which is 8 years. And we want to calculate first the interest. Remember, we need to change this one into decimal notation. Then now we can calculate we use this equation, then the interest will be 2,500 multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. We multiply these numbers together, we will find the interest is 1,000. Let me write down this. The interest will be 1,000. Now we need to calculate the balance. To calculate the balance, we need to add the principal plus the interest. And balance equals to the principal, which is 2,500 plus 1,000. And let's see if I can write here the balance. 3,500. And let's write here the balance equals to $3,500. And these are the answer for this is the answer for this question. Let's try one more problem. Also, we will apply the same equations if it's needed, both. Let's see what we had to do in this case. Then a business owner takes out a 6-month loan at 5% per year simple interest. At the end of the 6 months loan period, the interest owed is 80. What was the principal amount borrowed? Then in this case we need to be careful with the units. Remember, the units of the rate and the time must be the same. Then let's check the units we had here. We had 4% per year, yes, and here we had 6 period, means the time is 6 months, yes, 6 months. Then just that part we had to be careful in this. And let's identify what information we know, and we will now take care of this because we need the same units for both, for the time and for the rate. Then let's see. We need to find what we know. We know the time. The time is 6 months. We know the rate is 4%, and here is important is per year. Yes, it's per year. Maybe I will write here to know it's per year. And in this case, we know the interest is 80. And we want to know what is the principal. Yes, we need to find principal. Then now we need to see how we can get the same units for time and for the rate. In this case, we had 4% per year and we had 6 months. And it's easier to write the time in years. We know 1 year has 12 months. Yes, we had 12 months in a year. Then means if we had 6 months, we had half year. Yes, but we can write half like 0.5. Yes, and 6 months correspond to half of the year or 0.5 years. And just remember here we want to write this one in decimal notation. And now we had everything in the same units. The time is 0.5 years, the rate is 0.04, yes, per year, or 4% per year, and the interest is $80. Then now we can calculate the principal. And let's write the equation. Let's do that part here. And now let's plug in the values. Interest is 80 equals. We don't know the principal, then we will write it here, the variable. The rate is 0.04 and the time is 0.5. Then let's multiply this one together. 0.04 times 0.5, and this is 0.02. And we have 0.02. You can write this one also like 0.02, okay? The same thing. And now we need to divide to solve for P. Divide by, and 80 divided by 0.02 is 4,000. Oh, the principal is $4,000. Then the principal amount he borrowed was $4,000. That's $4,000. And in this problem, just you need to be careful with the units of the time and the rate. These two units must be the same. And let's complete the last two problems for this section, and we will done for today. Then let's try the number one. If 8,000 is invested at 4.25% simple interest, what will be the balance after 4 years? Yes, what will be the balance? And here we need, in order to calculate the balance, because we know the principal, but in order to calculate the balance, we need to know the interest. Then first we will calculate the interest, and then we will calculate the balance. Let's see what information we know. And we know, in this case, the principal is $8,000. The rate is 4.25%, and the time is 4 years. And now we need to calculate first the interest, and then we will calculate the balance. And we need to calculate the balance of the end. And let's do this part first. Then the principal is 8,000. Here we need to change this one into decimal notation. Then will be 0.0425 times 0.0425, and the time will be 4 years. And finally, if we multiply these numbers together, we will have the interest is 1,360. Now we can calculate the balance, which is the principal plus the interest, and the principal we know is 8,000, plus 1,360, and the balance will be let me put some space here, will be $9,360. Then the balance after 4 years will be 9,360. Then let's try the last problem. In this case, James invests $7,000 at 5% simple interest for 8 years. How much is in the account at the end of the 8 years period? And again, in this case, what we need to calculate is the balance. Yes, but in order to calculate the balance, we need to calculate first the interest. And it's the same procedure we did before. It's the same procedure we did before. Then let's identify what information we know. And we have the principal, which is $7,000. Then it's a simple interest for 8 years. Then we know at 5%. Then we know the rate is 5%. And let's write in decimal notation also, because we need in decimal notation. And the time will be 8 years. Then we need to calculate the balance, but in order to calculate the balance, we need to calculate first the interest. And let's calculate we need to calculate the interest, and then we want to calculate the balance. And let's calculate the first one. Then the principal will be 7,000 multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. And the interest will be, in this case, if we multiply 7,000 times 0.05 times A, will be get 2,800. Then the interest is $2,800. Yes. Will be right here, so like that. And now we can calculate the balance if we apply the second equation. This is principal plus interest, and principal plus interest, and the balance will be $7,000 plus 2,800, then it's 9,800. Let me write here a little more space here. $9,800. And at the end of 8 years, the balance will be 9,800. This is all I had to discuss for today.